You are watching the number one podcast in the whole entire wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Wanzo.
And I'm your other host, John Paul Laek.
Together we are Raw Break. How's every single one of you, family? Welcome to another episode of our show. We're going to be talking about AEW Dynamite, and at least this is the best that we have so far, because Monday Night Raw sucks, SmackDown is bad, so during the week, NXT, we're going to be talking a little bit about everything on that. But I feel that AEW Dynamite gives you a little extra edge, and we know a lot of news coming out of this show, so I feel that it was a thumbs up overall.
Yeah, I mean, Dynamite, like we said, since they added CM Punk, you added Bryan Danielson, all these new guys, and, we're starting to see, the bad people that we had in the beginning of Dynamite, AEW's history, they're either written off TV or their contracts are slowly expiring. We're seeing less of these people. I think Tony Khan is actually learning. He's like, hey, all these big names and these people are criticizing me for these things. Let me actually change it. And look, he changes it, and everybody enjoys it more. He's a booker, Vince McMahon, who actually listens, to people's criticism. So Dynamite the past couple weeks has been, like I said, it's the must-see show. It might not be the best booked, or you might not know everybody, but you got to admit it's the most fun show to watch. I would say, when you watch it, you enjoy it the most.
Exactly. So, family, thank you so very much. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and give the video a like so more people are exposed to us. Also, like I said, Paul, tell me a little bit about the advantage for the Team 2.0 on the Go Home show for what is going to be NXT Takeover War Games.
Yeah, like we said, you and I both feel like Team 2.0, the new guys on the block. We said both teams are a mix of babyface and heel, but I think Team 2.0 is the heel team in this. And are they going to get the win? I think it's going to come, no matter who gets the win, it's going to come down to Braun Breaker and Tommaso Ciampa. They're going to be inside War Games. But the thing I ended the review on, and I'm going to end it right here before we start the Dynamite review, is the inexperience of Team 2.0 going to play a factor, for a shoot, in this match? Is somebody going to get hurt? Is somebody going to mess something up? Not intentionally, but, you never know. It's scary.
Yes.
War Games match.
The difficulty, of this type of matches, they're going to be put on a test to all these guys. So we'll see what happens. I mean, we have faith, but the risks are there. So we'll see if they are able to pull it off or not. Paul, remember, we said, when are Bryan Danielson and Hangman Page going to fight for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship? Well, winter is coming, so that's when they're going to do it. I don't really think that they're going to have a title switch. I really don't think they will do that to Hangman Page. But, this is intriguing because, Bryan Danielson is going really hard into this. He's heel, all of that. So, I mean, at least we have a date for this match. It's going to be in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, there's, to me, the next AEW World Champion is Maxwell Jacob Friedman. And what better guy to get, to get Hangman Adam Page over, get him a big first title defense than Bryan Danielson. Danielson didn't come here to win titles. They'll give him the belt eventually, I'm sure, some point down the line. But I would say more as a babyface than a heel champion. Maybe heel TNT champion would be good. But this, I'm really excited. Winter is coming. We saw a lot of debuts. I'm going to predict another debut, I think, for Winter is coming later on. I'll mention that. But, it's a big show. It's not a pay-per-view, but that's where Kenny Omega won the title. So it's a big show. So I'm expecting a lot. And this is a great, match for
Exactly. So, talking about Bryan Danielson, he opened the show because he was going to fight, the show was in Atlanta. So they had to fight somebody from this and one member of the Dark Order. And he was number 5. And you see, also, Brody Lee's kids was right there. And, yeah, I mean, I don't know how to feel about that. I mean, they have to always, help him out, give him, hey, this showcase the guy, but,
at this point, it's probably not even worth, complaining about it because, they wrote him into the story. It wasn't just a feel-good moment, bring him out on TV. He's been on TV so much. He has a gimmick and everything. He's pretty much part of the team, so we just have to accept it. But, I mean, this match with Alan Angels, I mean, it's bad when a guy makes Danielson look big, and that's exactly what he did. And also, when he wore the mask, I mean, he looks like a Stu Grayson's smaller brother.
Yes.
He's bald with a goatee. I'm like, dude, keep the mask on at least, because you're not getting over with your look, with your face. So keep the mask on. At least you looked a little different. But no, I mean, he had a little bit of a decent showing, but no, this was all Danielson. And I love how he plays with the crowd. When he hits a big move, he'll stop. You know, he'll either flex or he'll wave at the crowd, wave his finger, and so he gives that smile like, like, nope, not yet. He gets a big running knee. Not. No, I'm not going to pin him yet. You know, then he put the submission.
He did a submission hold.
But I love when he did the submission. He has to give him this. Like, I don't need to use my, both arms. Like,
one hand.
It's such a prick. Like that. Even Adam Page at that point, because he wouldn't let go of the hold. He's like, come on, ref, call it, call the match. Why is it still going on? He took his headset off because we should mention JR is going through some skin cancer.
He has cancer. Unfortunately, he has skin cancer.
Yeah, so he won't be back till I think they said December 29th.
Yes, yeah, he's gonna be out for a few weeks. Yes, but like that's why everybody's feeling it.
Yeah, almost every segment, we almost had somebody new. So that was an interesting dynamic. I didn't hate it too much. So Adam Page was out here on commentary. He took his headset off. He got pissed, after the ref rung the bell and Danielson won. But to me, I mean, it was quick. It did what it needed to, and Danielson looks good.
And like you can see Paul right there, like also like he cut a promo. He's like, hey, you're on fire. Brian Danielson, what's going to happen now the winner is coming? He's like, hey, like acting prick and all of that. He's like, I'm going to win that championship. And Hangman Page just sucks. It's not cowboy shit. It's cowboy
shit instead of cowboy shit.
Exactly. So, like, good promos, and, Adam Hangman Page got so mad, and he's like, well, remember, Tony Khan said that you guys cannot touch each other. See, at least they had that little stipulation, that little detail. That's cool, because, we're used to seeing, like, guys that are going to fight for a championship. Like, they go at it all the time, but then we're going to see Alex Silver, and he's like, well, but I can actually beat him. And I'm like, really, dude? Like, I'm really, like, you're going to beat him. So he tries to go there to the ring, and then his own escapes, and he tones a little bit more out of Hangman Page. So I'm really looking forward for this. Again, I don't think there's going to be a title switch just based on the idea that Hangman just got the championship. But like you said, they're warming that title for MJF. So this is good regardless.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to the match at Winter is Coming. And, I'm fine with the storyline with Danielson just, beating all the members of the Dark Order. They're in Long Island next week.
Yes.
John Silver's from Long Island. So it all makes sense. It keeps that storyline going. So, good stuff here.
It's going to be good. Exactly.
Yeah.
At least, and they're giving you a lot of things why they can play with. So that's good. Yeah. Tell me a little bit about, your guy. Miro, he got a great promo, and I love the white background. Because it made it seem, like a movie. It made it seem different. So, he got a really great promo. The Redeemer, great stuff. Yeah. Great stuff.
Like he was in heaven or in purgatory or limbo.
Purgatory, that's the best word, yes.
It's like you didn't know where he was because he said, again, about the neck and all his weaknesses. He's like, I realized that my God is bullshit. They bleeped it out. I don't know what word he actually said, but he's just like, I'm going to embrace, I'm going to destroy one of my weaknesses, and I'm going to embrace the other one. So, you got to figure out what he's going to do here and, how this is going to play forward. But again, the way Miro delivers it, because if you would read the script, you'd be like, this sounds goofy, this sounds dumb. But the way he delivers it, you believe this is what he would actually be saying, and it's so good. And Miro would be another guy, if he's not going to go after Hangman Adam Page and you're not going to push him that way, give him the TNT Championship again.
Yeah.
I'm not going to keep harping on it because, like we said, we don't want to keep harping on the same things. But he should have never lost that belt.
No, but Sammy Guevara's not doing doing jack shit with it. It's not doing anything. It's not enhancing the title. Like all the work that Miro did. It's
a few. I would rather see. I'm sorry to cut you off. I was going to because we're saying he's doing nothing. He's feuding with Tony Nese. They had, we saw the promos, this and that. But I would rather see Miro and Tony Nese.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It will be much better, but unfortunately that's not what we're going to see. So, let's go to the next one. There's a CM Punk against Moriarty. A good match. The one thing is like CM Punk is like fighting way too many people that shouldn't be fighting. I don't think that he needs this type of matches. I mean, for the other guy, it's good. They get the rub, like you said, Paul. Like, oh, I fought CM Punk and all of that. But is it really helping storyline? Is it really helping you to develop
that's
the character?
It is. It is not. It's not really good for fans and what we want to see, but it's all the storyline because MJF was on commentary. Oh, he's not CM Punk. He's not the badass. He's PG Punk. He's bullshit. Look at him. If I was in the ring with Lee Moriarty, I would have beat him in 30 seconds.
And Lee almost beats him.
Yeah, I mean, this was. The match, it was good. It was a good contested match. Like you said, CM Punk, he really gets these guys over, but CM Punk still looks good. At the end, he still shines good. He still looks strong. The go to sleep, he even flexes too. When they went to the commercial break, he looked strong. He looked good. But MJF just ripping him on commentary was good. And, afterwards where he's like, look at you, you look like a crack addict, all that stuff again. He's like, you just want to get into Britt Baker's pants, because he said Britt Baker replaced MJF as one of the pillars.
Yes.
So you can tell that really hurt MJF, so they keep going at it. And, I mean, the War of Words is good. Then we see this with Wardlow. And to me, if you're going to do this match, I mean, this will be great. I think he'll make Wardlow look like $1 million. He'll make him look like a monster.
Yeah.
But CM Punk is still going to get the win, because I don't think his first loss is coming until MJF. And then I think maybe that's, when you're going to have MJF maybe beat somebody else in between and then go to Hangman Page. But I think, he's eventually, after he beats CM Punk, which I think he should. I'm sure some people say no, he shouldn't, but I don't know. I think that's
especially because Hangman Page is a babyface, so you need a type of heel on MJF. And you said, what a better way to say I'm the number one contender that pins CM Punk.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think, like you said, this feud calls for.
And you know what? You can even do something where the ref don't see it. He wins that Dynamite diamond ring for the third time, because that match is next week in Long Island. And he said the people that are going to cheer him, boo CM Punk, all this stuff. So, if he wins it a third time, he still has that ring. Boom, he can punch CM Punk in the face and the nuts. The ref don't see it. He pins him, and he can win dirty. You know what I mean? So it's like the fans know, CM Punk would have won that. But, no, he didn't.
Exactly, and then it doesn't hurt the character. It doesn't hurt CM Punk as the wrestler. So good stuff, all. So Britt Baker, DMD, of course, another promo because of Rico. This rivalry is just bad. I don't like it. I don't understand it. I mean, you don't have anybody else for Britt Baker. I would much rather be in Abaddon, just because, at least it's more believable.
No, I got to disagree with you on that one.
I mean, because for me, Rico, Paul is she's really skinny. The rivalry is not there. Why do I really care for this? But again, she's ended up saying that on Dynamite, Jamie Hayter is going to go against Rico, and of course the DMD thing. I mean, she needs somebody more credible to have a better feud, because Britt is on fire. She's great, but she's going to stay in that same level if they doesn't get anybody that will enhance her, her as a heel and as a champion. So we're going to see this next week on Dynamite, Jamie Hayter against Rico. I don't care for this.
The only thing I'm going to say for this is, eventually, I think after Riho has her title match, which, I mean, it will probably be, sometime soon, get that over with. I think you're going to have to do, pull the trigger on the bodyguard, how Wardlow, they teased Wardlow turning on MJF and they never did it. Here, you actually have to do it. Jamie Hayter was pissed off when Britt Baker was like, oh, well, you lost your match. And she's gets really angry, but she calms herself down. She's like, no, don't be bullshit. But I think she's going to be bullshit after that match. And that's going to be the big feud. Because, Jamie Hayter, putting her with Britt Baker was good, kind of built her up, but she needs to be on her own. She's she's good, she's a powerhouse. She should be on her own. She shouldn't be there. So to me,
and the main thing, she needs a character.
The next feud.
She needs character. She needs to, develop her own, find her own voice. That's the one thing. So good stuff on that, Paul. Adam Cole against Orange Cassidy. This is not good. I don't care for this. Orange Cassidy, unfortunately, you said it many times, for the nature of his character, he needs other guys that will elevate him, because he just has the one ceiling. After that ceiling,
unfortunately, and I mean, I'm not saying I hate the guy personally. I don't know him, but he's a one-hit wonder.
Yes.
And, his gimmick is the hand in the pants. I can, the pockets. I can wrestle.
The kicks, all of that.
Yeah, I can wrestle a little bit, but he doesn't change. It's not like, oh, let me stop being goofy and let me only wrestle serious. And okay, we like you for the goofiness. It was funny, but no, this guy can be badass. And that's who you appreciate. Somebody who grows and you see, mature and be badass, in front of your eyes. But no,
keep developing himself.
And no, and this was, he was supposed to have a match, I guess, but then the Young Bucks, they imitate his kicks after Adam Cole, low blowed him. And then eventually Wheeler
the double super
Taylor
kick
came out, and they chased them away. And I guess we'll probably see this 6-man tag match on Dynamite.
Yeah, no,
on Rampage.
Unfortunately, like you said, Adam Cole is a little lost, but it's also because there's Danielson on the one hand, there's CM Punk on the other end, Hangman is on the other end. So probably
it's the fact he aligned himself with the elite.
Yeah,
because exactly. I know you like Omega, and I like him too. I don't hate him as much as some people, but without him and the Bucks on TV, for the most part, this show has been really good.
Yeah, it's true.
You know what I mean? They don't add anything to the show.
No, because again, there's other talent. So isn't there? If there will be sparkling in the show is fine. Like this, for example, it wasn't annoying because hey, they were there. They did the super kick. Okay, where they're not even a factor in anything. So I agree with you. You're right. So let's go now with like Warlock because he went to enhancement talent. Again, this is why to warm up for the match with CM Punk. That's why they did this. So like he goes hard when this match with CM Punk and Warlock looked like $1 million. So there you go, 1, 2, 3. It was very easy, very simple. Warlock gets the win. It will be good if they decide ever to push him in this kind of fashion. It will be fine. I believe because he has the look, he has the physique, the power and everything. So I mean, it's interesting to see how Warlock could potentially be if they ever decide to actually go with this full time. It will be good. But I think they're doing this just for CM Punk.
Yeah, I mean, I really do think eventually Wardlow's going to get his push because to me, the guy has talent, the guy has look. Obviously, and he's strong as an ox. You can do so much with him, and I think they will eventually. That's what the one thing about AEW, and Powerhouse Hobbs. He's another guy, same exact thing. You have this roster is so deep. Eventually, they're going to start cutting the fat. All these guys, all the guys who they aren't doing anything, they aren't moving the needle. And this company, not to go into the whole war thing again, but WWE, I mean, they're going to be in trouble for that, for the hottest wrestling show, on the national level.
If they continue, like you say, if Tony Khan keeps listening, like, Cornette, like everybody that's kind of guiding him, because Cornette now is actually involved in a positive way. He's actually giving him advice. Don't fuck this up. Like, tweak this, do this, and I think he's actually paying attention.
A lot of other people do. Hey, Tony, keep this up, keep doing that because they want to see it succeed. That's the one thing nobody wants to see.
They're behind it. They're behind it.
And that's when people say, "Oh, why do you bitch?" Because we want to see it succeed. We don't want to see it come into our lives and then fail and disappear.
Yes, and stay with WWE. Exactly. We want this company to stay, and a lot of people want to do the same thing. So move on like Penta and Pac. I don't know why Pac is wearing the eye patch, but I
guess he got hurt in that tag match, but I didn't. I don't know.
Oh yeah, well, I feel that like of course it's probably just in storyline because I don't think that he'll be able to just wrestle like that. I'm just saying.
I like when Shivani asked him that. He's like, Shivani, am I an invalid? And Shivani's like, so.
Exactly.
He's like, I'm not.
Tony's just bullshit. They got a good promo with FTR. And Paul, like Ray Phoenix one more time, it seems like he's hurt or like I don't know. Ray Phoenix, they've been said that he has backstage heat also because he fights like really stiff. So rough, and I guess he doesn't apologize when he messes up. But in the end, they're gonna have this match on Rampage, and it's just gonna be, FTR going against the Penta and Pac. I mean, the feud continues, but it needs to just find itself a way to end.
This is another thing too, when we said about people who don't really move the needle and this and that, and this roster is so deep. Maybe the Lucha Bros are another team where it goes, hey guys, we signed you right at the beginning of the thing. It's a 3-year deal. Your contract is almost up. You want to go to AAA or Impact, do tours, NWA, whatever you want to do, go ahead, because, maybe they don't want them. I mean, I'm not saying, we don't want them, get out of here, but, this roster is so deep, and you said that with Ray Phoenix, and he's hurt all the time, and, I don't know, and I think FTR is so hot in the fans' eyes right now, so I'm glad they keep this feud going, but again, it's a match.
Again, this is one more thing. It's like really, like we're getting tired of it. So let's go with like the guys that are undefeated, and that's Sting and Darby Allin going against Billy Gunn, badass Billy Gunn or Billy, and his kids. And I mean, the match was okay. I like the stare down. Billy and Sting. That was good because Billy at almost 60 years old. Look at the physique. Look how good he looks. But unfortunately, he was never good on the mic, and that's why he was never pushed as a main event player. But Sting also with a different type of mask. Face paint. That was also cool. But in the end, I hate that like Sting keeps burying people. If there's somebody that loves to bury, it's not even The Undertaker. He's just Sting because he buries young talent. I don't like this.
It's all how you look at it. And to me, this match, it really didn't mean anything because who's Colton Gunn? I mean, I know they said they're ranked 3rd in the tag division, but I mean, really, who are they? You know what I mean? Billy Gunn. I mean, him and Darby Allin had a great match on Rampage. Go check that out if you haven't. But it's one of the things they're pushing Sting and Darby Allin. Who knows? Maybe FTR is going to win the belts. Who would be a first team for them to go against? Sting and Darby Allin. I don't know. I'm not saying that's what you should do or anything, but it might be a possibility. But this match was all right, and you knew they were just going to get Sting over because he's the legend, and the fans and that audience. They popped for that. I think Taz was on commentary for this match, and it was all right. Darby Allin is great again. Dived to the outside, took out Billy Gunn. It's like you shot Darby out of a cannon. he's so good, and he even busted his head open and stuff, and
Darby's used good, because he's actually he
Darby's
takes
really
all the risks. He's like, we know that that's the current version of Jeff Hardy. He's
And
like the
to me,
reincarnation of Jeff
I would
Hardy.
have MJF. I mean, to just mention on this for Darby, I would have MJF whenever he wins the belt, he holds that thing for at least a year, and he dropped it to Darby Allin.
That would be good, and it will be pillars and guys that like are AEW own, so that will be cool too. We go for good stuff. I mean, this is like for me just like Sting. I've never been a fan, so maybe I'm biased on that. But this is just bad. I love the guy, but like he's pissing me off already. We go from love, and now he's like, get the fuck out of my TV. You don't need Chris Jericho. You don't need him at this
Another
point.
one that I said is right in the Young Bucks and the Kenny Omega, where it's you might like them, and that's fine, but you got to admit they do nothing for the show. They don't they don't bring in viewers, and nobody cares if they're on it or not.
Ever Rise. Like this is not good, and with Garcia also, like I don't care for this, and especially because Chris Jericho is not needed on the show. We've said this, and we keep saying it. The guy needs to leave. The first 2 years, he was there to like legitimize the show. Now you have all his names.
As champion, he was fine. I had no problems with him.
Yes, but now he needs to go because again the character is stale. There's nothing that he can do to make his character look better. So unfortunately, that's what happens, and this is not interesting. Who cares? I'm sorry, but like you go feuding with Ever Rise.
He just wants to ride Eddie Kingston's coattails because Eddie Kingston's popular right now. Because Jericho, again, like you said, he's stale and he can't think of his own way to get over.
Yeah, I mean, what is the best way to actually remain current? Leaving. Go on tour. You're gonna have to go like all throughout Europe. Maybe a few months. Okay, then come back and maybe have a feud with Danielson. Maybe have a feud with Adam Cole. Do something that it will be more interesting rather than go with 5 jobbers from NXT. That's how it is. So let's go with like Lio Rush and also Team Taz. Remember also Dante Martin joined them, so now they have a new member, and they actually had a few words of what is going to be like the battle royal, for like the diamond ring and everything. So like I mean, Lio Rush has good promos, but is he going to win it? No, I think like you said, MJF is probably going to win it for the 3rd year in a row, and just a feuding with Team Taz and all of that. I don't know what they're going to do with Lio Rush. I mean, the guy is a good wrestler, but this is not interesting quite yet for me. I mean, it was cool that Danny Martin joined them, but now Team Taz also needs to become a force, something important in the show, because if not, they keep getting guys, but nothing ever happens.
Yeah, and that's what I touched on earlier. Powerhouse Hobbs is so good. He should be another guy who could be TNT champ. I mean, they towed around that FTW championship, and in ECW, it was over, and it was awesome. After that, it's nothing more to me than a title you can buy on the toy aisle at Walmart. It's not a recognized belt. It has no history. It doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? Like, no offense to Taz, but, it really doesn't mean anything. And, that's the only thing they have on them. Let one of them be champion. Let one of them do something. Like you said, this feud with Lio Rush, the match is going to be good, but you got to think, he's one guy, and he's small. Yeah, he's quick and he's talented, but he can't beat all of them.
Yeah.
So they'll have the numbers game. They'll just gang up on him. They'll beat him up, whatever.
And that's it.
What are you going to do? Are you going to bring in Brian Cage? Is he going to come back? Is he going to team with him? But if that's what you do, does anybody want to see that? No. To me, the only thing you got to do is they beat Lio Rush. He goes off. Maybe the brother's ready to come back. Maybe the brother joins with him and is in the tag team. And then Dante's like,
and at some point, Dante it's like the pressure of helping him out, forces him to go back and be again align himself with Lio Rush. That's what we're going to see. Also, we got to see a promo by Thunder Rosa. She's going to be on commentary for going to be Rampage, and she's going to be calling the match of Jet Cargill. So, this is okay, but this is going to be one of the semifinals for the TBS Championship. I mean, I'm completely torn now just because of how the semifinals are going to be. But at least if they do wrong for Thunder Rosa, I feel that then she should right away become the #1 contender for the Women's Championship for Britt Baker, and then maybe she will be the one dethroning her. I don't know what is going to happen, but regardless, this is semi-interesting for me. Not absolutely great.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would push Jade. I would have Jade and Soho be in the finals, and I would have Soho win the whole thing. Or Jade. I mean, honestly, either one of those. I don't know if Jade's ready, maybe not, but definitely not promo-wise. Promo sometimes is a train wreck. And wrestling skill, I mean, she reminds me like Chyna. Just big and impressive, but really not a good worker. So, I don't know if you'd rather have the belt on her or Soho, who's more talented, but you want it on a heel. or do you want it on a babyface? That's your whole thing. But no, I think Thunder Rosa is going to lose. She needs to be the one, like I said, if you do Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter, right after that, hopefully you have a pay-per-view coming up by then. That's when you do Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, and that's when you do the switch.
Yes, it's absolutely. I think so. Is a good idea. So talking about this, championship, let's move on to the quarterfinals. Here's Outlander with Ruby Soho. You said this from the beginning. I agree with you. Ruby Soho has I think the most possibilities. She's the one appointed to win this championship, and the match was actually good.
She's over in this company, so
yes, they love her. Even Taz was singing the song Ruby Soho, la la la, or something like that. It would be Ruby Soho or something.
And we gotta thank Becky Lynch for her huge contract. And
Paul, you know what they did? WWE, of course, they had to cut actually that part in the YouTube version of the promo from Liv Morgan. They cut it out. It's thanks to you, my friends are gone. So there you go. But great match, Poison Rana, another scissors. It was really cool. 1-2. The Crystal Lane also kicks out. She counter the Big Bang Theory, and then she does a roll up. Really cool stuff. Ruby Soho gets the win, and then receive respect from both girls. Good stuff. And Statlander has her ceiling in AEW. I don't know if she's ever going to be champion. I don't think she's that over, but Ruby Soho is. And then we're going to she was opposed attack by Nyla Rose. Not an attack that is going to be influential, is going to cause anything. It's just to hype the match. And this is the semifinals. So I'm thinking if they go with the way of Soho, it has to be Soho versus Cargill.
Yeah.
If they go with Thunder Rosa, it will be right here with Thunder and Nyla Rose. So I think those are the two possibilities. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, to me, you could do two baby faces in the finals, and I mean that would be the only other matchup because you need somebody who can kind of lead. I don't know. I mean, the best match would be Ruby Soho and Thunder Rosa, but I think you that would be again, does anybody want to see babyface? So I would say Soho and Jade, but God, could you imagine the train wreck of Nyla Rose versus Jade Cargill?
Oh yeah.
That would be bad.
That would not be good.
Leading the blind on that one.
Oh no, that would not be good. And I know they need a good baby face on that. So I hope Tony kind of understands that we have faith in him. So we're going to see also, like you said in Rampage, Sammy Guevara versus Tony Nese. This is okay. I mean, it's a good debut for Tony. Is he going to win the championship? No, because Sammy, they want to just give him guys, like you said, and they debuted him, so they lose. Where's Jay Lethal? We don't know where Jay Lethal is. So there you go. We're going to see, like we said, Jade Cargill and Thunder Rosa is going to be calling this. We'll see. She's probably going to fight a jobber. 1, 2, 3 and done. We mentioned already, Bernard Danielson is going to go John Silver. This is going to be on Dynamite. So, pretty, good stuff just to hype that match with Hangman Page for the AEW Championship. So let's go to the main event, Paul, in street fight. And, Atlanta street fight, because now every single city has a street fight. We go from Philly, that's the classical street fight. Now it's Atlanta, it's Reading, it's Kutztown, it's everywhere. You name it, you put it in Whitehaven, it's up to you. Andrade Idolo with Cody, there's nothing worse to say that Andrade Idolo is absolutely buried. And I think that you know it, we all know it. The guy's got potential, has everything to be a main eventer. And if you say to me, well, Juan, he's in a main event, but he loses. He loses. So if you don't win, then you're still a loser. It doesn't matter how many times you main event. And Cody is just being Cody. Of course, let the guy sell, all of that. In the end, he gets the win. I don't know why, because we don't know what the path is going to be for him.
Yeah, I mean, I know they wanted to sign Andrade because, he's popular with the fans. The fans know he's a good wrestler. But to me, as soon as he started talking and he's like, oh, let me wear the suits and I'm like a businessman or whatever he is. And then he has the manager who's annoying and nobody cares about. And speaking of managers, as soon as this match started, Arn Anderson fell off the stage and, Andrade's manager had to help him up. Because he fell on the crash pad, whatever. And, but Arn is, obviously so big and so old he couldn't get up. So, that pretty much summed up the whole match. And no, Andrade, to me, if you were going to debut him, it had to be with, a legit manager. And Andrade shouldn't speak. When he speaks, to me, that just destroys his credibility. And, I'm not even saying, it's the accent is bad or anything, but it's he's not a good promo. Even if you could deliver it legit, the verbiage, if you're reading it like a script, it's not good. He's not a good promo. He needs somebody who is to talk for him. But No, I mean, the match had some good spots in it. I'm not a big fan of street fights and stuff. Cody Rhodes, you saw his back was peeling like crazy. They're like, what is it? What's that from? Then what we saw in the ending, it's probably they rehearsed the ending, and that's why his back was peeling. We'll get into that in a minute. And the crowd kept chanting, use the tables. And either guy was like, no, we're not going to do it. Like, no, don't be bullshit.
When they were sitting for that table, even I saw collaboration. I don't know if you noticed it. Like Cody on the one side and Andrade on the other one. So let's set it up together. I was like, really?
Yeah, I mean, and then you saw Cody got sent through the one table. He was going to tackle Andrade, but he kind of dodged, sent him through the table and stuff. And then eventually, you saw here, like in the ending, Brandy Rhodes came out, and it's like, oh my God, because, the crowd, they were kind of booing Cody, kind of cheering him. It was a little bit But I mean, again, to me, these matches, I can't get into them. I'm just uninterested. And then when Brandy comes out, it kills it for me. They light the table on fire, and at that point, I was like, oh, so that's why Cody's back is peeling, because he did this spot, and the inverted DDT or whatever it was, his back was on fire. Yeah,
at least he took all the bombs, so I'll give him props on that, because it's legit fire. So
and you got to think his back is already peeling, so that toughest layer, the outermost layer of skin, and probably a couple deep, is already gone. And then to take that bump again, I mean, you got to give him props to it, whether it's stupidity or commitment or whatever you want to call it, dedication.
Great dedication and respect. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he did it, but again, that's how you close the show. I mean, unfortunately, a main event I really don't, I don't care about. When you see guys like CM Punk, MJF, Bryan Danielson, even Darby Allin, is Cody really the last thing I want to see?
No, and then the main thing is because the implications, like what's happening after? Is he ever going to challenge?
Was their feud really that crazy that it had to be in a street fight?
No, is it, they know they need toys, because the main events. What is the one thing though that Dynamite is not good at? The show is really good, but the main event is always like, is not as good as the beginning. The main event is always suffering. It lacks that feeling of like a main event. So of course they gotta add the stipulation toys, so make it, oh my God. And they did this spot at the end, so people like, what are they gonna remember last? That spot. Oh, he did that. Oh, he reminds me of Edge and Mick and all of that. I mean, it's cool, but again, the implications of it, what happens with him next? Malachi one more time, and I don't know. That's the one thing that
probably don't give them any ideas.
Nah, exactly. So, but at least in the end, we get to see the return of Brandy Rhodes. Does it really matter? No, because if you really like Dynamite, you don't care for Cody or Brandy. They're not the show, and I think he knows it. He within himself knows is like, I'm not Dynamite. He's like, he might create it, he might be the mastermind behind it, but then everybody else took over, and he's like, okay, dude, you're still here because you're not going to WWE. So that's what it is. But Paul, thank you so very much, and your family, thank you to every single one of you, because I hope we said you were. Tomorrow we'll have NXT UK, another good show. So Wednesday and Thursdays are good shows. Some days that we feel excited to talk about professional wrestling. So be with us for that, and don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. And where else can I find us?
Follow us, Rope Break on Facebook, OG Rope Break on Twitter, Original Rope Break on Instagram, Twitch, TikTok, and Spotify. And of course, right here on YouTube, the home of the #1 podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the Original Rope Break.
And you and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is...